You think déjà vu is just a weird thought? Fine. A glitch, a coincidence, a little hiccup where your brain accidentally tells you you've been here before. But why does it feel certain? Why does it hit you before you can explain it? And why does your body react sometimes with a little jolt before your mind even decides what it means? Most people don't ask. They say déjà vu. They say brain glitch. They repeat words, but that's not an answer. When you really ask what déjà vu is, you don't find a mystical memory. You find something mechanical, something about timing, something about how your brain builds now. Let me show you. Start with something simple. You walk into a room you've never been in, a hallway, a doorway, a certain angle of light. A voice says a sentence, and then it happens. A snap, not a thought, a feeling. And it isn't soft. It's not kind of familiar. It's a hard yes that lands in your body first and only later asks your mind to explain it. A hard, clean feeling that says, this has already happened. Because déjà vu doesn't feel like confusion, it feels like recognition. And what's strange is that the feeling arrives first and the explanation comes later. So let's talk about what you think you're feeling, because the word déjà vu makes it sound like the problem is memory, but the first clue is that déjà vu is fast, too fast. If this were your mind searching through years of stored episodes, if it were actually retrieving a scene, you'd feel the search, you'd feel the uncertainty, you'd feel the effort, but déjà vu is clean, instant, like a switch, too fast and too confident. So where does that confidence come from? Here's the key. Your brain doesn't experience the world in real time. That sounds wrong because it feels like you're living in the present, but you're not. You're living in a constructed present, a present your nervous system assembles. An assembly takes time. Déjà vu has a specific flavor. It's not maybe, it's not I wonder, it's yes. A moment ago or sometime, this exact moment existed. The same room, the same timing, the same sentence, and yet you can't retrieve the memory. You can't say where, you can't say when, you can't say what happens next. It's like the brain stamps the moment as familiar and then refuses to show you why. And your body often reacts to it. A little freeze, a micro hold in the breath, a tiny stomach drop, a brief heat flush, that skin crawl sensation that says, pay attention, because the system tags it as significant. That stamp is the hook because your mind trusts the stamp. You don't decide. It feels familiar. It arrives already labeled. So let's go step by step and earn the mechanism. Look around you. You see a stable world, edges, depth, motion. You hear sound that seems synchronized with what you see. You feel your body oriented in space. It feels unified, one moment. You've even seen the brain correct timing in real life. Watch someone speak from across a room. The sound arrives a little later than the light. Your brain doesn't report it as late. It silently drags the streams into alignment so the voice feels attached to the mouth. Or watch a badly dubbed video. The timing is off by a fraction of a second and it suddenly looks wrong. Not because the world changed, because your stitching system can't hide the gap. That's what now is. A best fit synchronization. Usually invisible, sometimes exposed, but it isn't one moment. It's a stack of signals arriving at different speeds, processed by different circuits, stitched into a single experience you call now. Light hits your eyes and becomes electrical activity. Sound hits your ears and becomes electrical activity. Your muscles and joints send position signals. Your inner ear reports acceleration. None of that is the world. It's data. And your brain has to turn that data into a scene. That takes time. Not seconds, milliseconds. But milliseconds matter, because on the timescale of perception, a few dozen milliseconds is the difference between together and out of order. And here's what that gap looks like in numbers. A blink or startle response can happen on the order of tens of milliseconds after a sudden sound, think 30 to 80 milliseconds. That's your body moving before you can narrate anything. In lab timing, work on voluntary movement, the brain's preparation to move can begin hundreds of milliseconds before the action, around half a second, while the reported feeling of "I decided" appears much later, closer to a couple hundred milliseconds before the movement. You don't need philosophy to see what that implies. The machinery starts first, awareness arrives late, take a sudden loud noise, a bang, a slam, a crack, your body flinches, eyes blink, shoulders jump, muscles tighten. Then after your mind produces the sentence, "What was that?" That order matters. The blink is already over before you can generate the story of why you blinked. Body first, story second. So what does that imply? It implies there's always a gap between the world and your awareness of it. Usually you don't notice the gap because the stitching is good, but sometimes the seam shows. And déjà vu is one kind of seam. Now, you might think the seam is memory failing, but familiarity is not memory. You think recognition works like this. You see something, you search memory, you retrieve a match, you feel familiarity. That's the story your conscious mind tells. But familiarity can happen without retrieval. You felt this with faces. You see someone, you get that flash, "I know you," but you can't place them. No name, no location, no context, just the tag. Familiar, that tag is not a full memory, it's a fast signal, a quick classification. It doesn't mean "I remember," it means this matches something I've seen before, and the brain treats that signal as valuable, because familiarity is information. It tells the system, pay attention. This might matter. This might predict what happens next. That's why it can fire quickly, sometimes faster than the systems that build a detailed story. Here's why that fast tag exists at all. Your brain has two jobs that fight each other. One job is accuracy. Build a detailed model of the world. The other job is speed. Decide what matters before it's too late. If you wait for perfect detail, you react too late. If you react too fast, you sometimes react to the wrong thing. So the system uses a shortcut. First, it asks a crude question: does this resemble something I already know? That's familiarity. And it asks it early using partial information, before the edges are fully resolved, before the sounds are fully parsed, before the story is finished. Then, if the tag is strong, other systems pour resources into the scene. Attention increases, encoding strengthens, prediction tightens. That's why familiarity feels like a spotlight. It isn't there to tell you this is true, it's there to tell you this is worth processing. And once you see that, déjà vu stops looking like a magical memory. It starts looking like the cost of being fast. A system designed to flag known quickly will occasionally flag known in the wrong place. So now we have two ingredients. Your present is assembled with delays. Familiarity is a fast tag, not a full recall. Put those together and something becomes possible. You can feel familiarity without knowing why. And déjà vu is exactly that. But wait, if déjà vu is just a fast familiarity tag, the illusion shouldn't feel so precise. Because if the tag is vague, the feeling should be vague, but it isn't. It feels like this exact moment, this hallway, this light, this sentence, right now. So how does a vague tag become a precise illusion? Because déjà vu isn't just familiarity, it's familiarity landing on the wrong target. Think about what your brain is doing in every moment. It's building a scene from multiple streams. Vision is layered. Edges, motion, depth, faces. Sound is layered. Timing, tone, meaning. Body signals add posture and internal state. And your brain tries to synchronize them, but synchronization is hard because attention shifts. Your eyes jump in rapid snaps, your focus changes, your brain predicts what's coming next. So here are 3 mechanical routes that can produce the same output. Not one magical cause, 3 ways. The system can generate the same déjà vu label. Sometimes the scene is processed partially, then processed fully. A doorway is a perfect example. You're walking. Your eyes flick to the doorframe. A fraction of the room enters the system shape, layout, light, without your awareness, treating it as a complete scene. Then you step through. Now the full scene arrives. And the brain says, familiar. Not because you lived it before in your life, but because part of it arrived before in processing, a fraction of a second earlier, just long enough to create the sense of repeat. And there's another version of the same mechanism that happens even faster. You turn your head mid-step, your eyes don't glide smoothly, they jump. A quick snap to a new point, another snap, another. In one of those snaps, the scene can be sampled twice in rapid succession, first as a rough sketch, then as a filled-in picture. The first pass plants a trace. The second pass arrives and finds the trace. So familiarity fires, not because the world repeated, because your processing repeated. Sometimes familiarity fires, but the detail systems can't find the source. Like the face example, but tighter. You're in a cafe. A voice says a phrase, not a unique phrase, a simple one. But the cadence hits something. The tone hits something. The spacing of the words hits something. Familiarity spikes. And the mind reaches for the episode. Where did I hear that? Who said it? When? Nothing clean appears. Because the match wasn't an episode, it was a pattern. A rhythm your brain has stored without a name attached. So now you have a strong signal with no story, and your mind hates a gap. When the system receives a strong known tag without a source, it generates a narrative anyway. Not on purpose, automatically. I've been here, I've heard this is repeating, the tag is real, the story is the patch. And notice something, this is why déjà vu can happen in completely ordinary places, not because the place is special, because the patterns inside the place are common. Sometimes you haven't lived the moment, but you've lived the structure. An airport corridor, a clinic waiting room, a hotel lobby that funnels people the same way. The details change, the geometry doesn't. The same long rectangle, the same row of chairs, the same bright wall, the same counter at the far end. Your brain stores templates because templates are efficient. You don't move through life by analyzing every pixel. You move through patterns. So when a new scene strongly matches an old template layout, lighting, spacing, the familiarity system spikes. Not I remember this exact moment, more like I recognize this configuration. And there's a second angle to this too. Sometimes it isn't the room, it's the flow. The timing of the interaction. You approach a desk, someone looks up, you say the same opening sentence people always say, they answer with the same tone, you step to the side, you wait, the structure repeats across places. So familiarity fires across places. Now stop and notice what's common across all 3. In all 3, déjà vu is not a memory being replayed, it's a timing mismatch, a fast familiarity signal attaching to the wrong interpretation. Déjà vu is what it feels like when the familiarity system fires. And the story system can't explain why. And here's the structural reframe that matters. Déjà vu isn't just a feeling of memory, it's the timing structure of now showing through. Now we add one more step, because there's a feature of déjà vu people rarely describe accurately. It doesn't just feel familiar, it feels familiar and new at the same time. That conflict is the point. Déjà vu isn't pure recognition. If it were pure recognition, you would simply remember, you'd retrieve context, you'd know what happens next, but you don't. So déjà vu is not this is known, it's this is known and I can't justify it. 2 meters disagree. One system is saying familiar, another system is saying novel. and you feel the conflict as pressure inside the moment, a flicker, a stutter, a sense that reality has doubled. That's why déjà vu is unsettling. Not because it's supernatural, because it's contradiction. Your brain is giving you a certainty signal while failing to produce the evidence. And your body reacts to contradiction. Attention locks in, muscles tighten, breath shifts. You don't choose that, it's an output. At this point, you might think this is all convenient storytelling. So let's add something that doesn't care what you believe. Let's push the system. Let's make déjà vu more likely on purpose by exploiting templates. Imagine a simple setup, not a mystical setup, a mechanical one. Phase 1. You explore a set of spaces. Call it set A. A handful of rooms, corridors, little environments. You walk through them. You look around, nothing dramatic happens, but your brain quietly extracts the spatial skeleton, where the door is, where the left turn is, where the open area expands, where the narrow passage squeezes. Your brain does this automatically because navigation depends on it. Phase 2, later, you explore new spaces. Call it set B. And the important part is this: set B is new. Different walls, different colors, different objects. If you try to remember set B, you couldn't because you never saw it. But the spatial skeleton is borrowed. The layout matches set A, the same turn sequence, the same proportions, the same structure. Now watch what happens inside the person. They enter a set B room. They know it's new. The wallpaper is different, the furniture is different, the lighting is different, and still a familiarity tag fires. Not a full memory, no story, no episode, just that internal stamp, known. Some people report it as strong familiarity. Some report the déjà vu sensation, the specific "this is happening again" feeling, and the report often has the same shape. I can't explain it, but it feels like I've been here. That's déjà vu, familiarity without ownership. Because the familiarity system doesn't care about wallpaper, it cares about structure. The tag fires because structure matches, not because a memory clip is being replayed. And this is why déjà vu can be triggered by ordinary architecture, hallways, corners, stairwells, waiting areas. They reuse skeletons. Your world is built from repeated spatial grammar. So your brain keeps running into scenes that are new in detail, but familiar in structure. And when the structure match is strong enough, the familiarity tag can spike so hard that your conscious mind mislabels it. It doesn't say template match, it says I've lived this, because that's the only language consciousness has for the signal. Now, if déjà vu can be generated by structure alone, then the feeling is not proof of a past moment, it's proof of the system that tags the present. It's the machinery poking through, which brings us to the part that makes it feel supernatural, the body stamp. Déjà vu feels like knowledge, but knowledge is not what gives it force. The force comes from certainty. And certainty is not produced by logic, it's produced by physiology. Here's what your nervous system does all day. It tags significance before you understand. It shifts attention before you decide. It changes your body state before you form a sentence about it. That's not mood, that's mechanics. And you can measure the stamp. You can put someone in a lab, give them a stimulus, an image, a sound, a scene, and track the body's response. Skin conductance is one example. Tiny changes in sweating, too small to notice, but measurable. And the important part is that it has timing. You can time this. A skin conductance response often begins around 1 to 4 seconds after a salient stimulus and peaks later. It's not a story, it's a trace, a measurable curve that rises and falls. Pupil size is another. Pupils can dilate when attention spikes even before you can explain what caught your attention. Heart rhythm can shift, breath can micro-hold, muscles can tighten, and subjectively, people often recognize the feel a brief freeze, a stomach drop, a skin crawl, a heat flicker, not as meaning as output. And here's the part that matters. When your body stamps a moment as significant, your mind treats that stamp as evidence. It feels like this must be real because I feel it, but that's not how the system works. Certainty is a sensation, and your brain has circuits whose job is to generate that sensation on demand. Not to tell you what's true, to tell you what deserves resources, attention, memory, prediction. Here's another way to think about it. Imagine two knobs in your brain. One knob controls familiarity. The other knob controls arousal. If familiarity spikes but arousal stays flat, you might just get a mild, but if familiarity spikes and arousal spikes with it, attention locks, the body stamps significance, the same familiarity signal suddenly feels like proof because the stamp adds weight. It's like a document with an official seal. The seal doesn't guarantee the document is correct. It guarantees the system treated it as important. That's why déjà vu can feel like a revelation, not because the moment is actually repeating, but because your physiology is telling you it matters. And your mind converts matters into true. That's the uncomfortable part. Your feeling of certainty can be manufactured by the timing of circuits. So what does that imply? It implies déjà vu is not a message from the past. It's your relevance machinery misfiring, and then your conscious mind doing what it always does, building a story to match the signal. But wait, if déjà vu is a mechanical mismatch, why do some moments trigger it and not others? Because the mismatch happens most when the brain is updating context faster than it can verify it. Déjà vu lives on transitions, doorways, corners, context switches, moments where the model is being rebuilt. Let me make this concrete. You don't get déjà vu most often when you're slowly inspecting something. You get it when your brain is moving fast, when it's predicting, when it's compressing, when it's filling in gaps. A doorway is a context switch. You discard one scene and build another. That's exactly when timing can slip. Another condition is partial attention. Because attention is limited, when attention is split, encoding is thinner, less detail gets locked in. So later, when the moment is processed more fully, when the scene becomes complete, familiarity can spike without a clear source. Familiarity without a story is the perfect recipe for déjà vu. Similarity also matters. Not same place, same structure. A hallway that resembles 10 other hallways, a conversation rhythm that matches 100 conversations, a room layout that fits a template. Templates make you efficient. Templates also make you vulnerable to false familiarity. So here's the mini payoff. The feeling isn't evidence of a hidden memory. It's evidence of how your system builds now. Now we're at the edge of what science can explain cleanly and what it still can't. Because we can explain plausible mechanisms, we can measure delays, we can measure the body stamp, we can design situations where layout triggers familiarity without recall. But there are still limits, not mystical limits, practical limits. People hear science can't explain and imagine magic. That's not what's happening. The problem isn't that déjà vu is outside nature. The problem is that the thing producing it is inside the machine reporting it. You can't introspect the cause. You only get the output. You only get the label, déjà vu. So here are 3 honest gaps. 1, why this exact moment? We can list conditions that increase odds, transitions, similarity, partial encoding, but predicting the exact moment ahead of time is hard because the trigger is relational. It's a relationship between streams, a tiny timing offset, a brief conflict between known and new. And you don't experience that relationship directly, you experience the conclusion. 2, why intensity varies. Sometimes it's a faint flicker, sometimes it's a hard certainty that grabs your whole attention. same label, different force. Because signal gain is variable. Familiarity can spike a little or a lot. Arousal can stamp lightly or heavily. Attention can soften or clamp down, and those gain changes happen upstream of awareness. 3. Which mechanism you're experiencing. Two-pass processing, familiarity without source, template matching different routes, same outcome. Your experience doesn't arrive with metadata, it doesn't tell you which circuit fired first, it doesn't tell you whether structure matched or timing repeated, it just delivers the sensation. Because consciousness isn't a diagnostic interface, it's a headline. It gives you the bottom line familiar, urgent, important, and it hides the intermediate steps. No timestamps, no wiring diagram, no record of which system spoke first. So when the headline is wrong, you don't see the mistake being made, you only see the finished label. So the hard scientific problem isn't can déjà vu happen, it's mapping a specific déjà vu episode to a specific mechanism with high confidence in real time from measurable signals. That's the edge. And it matters because it reveals something uncomfortable. Your sense of certainty is an output, not a guarantee. So let's bring it together. You walk into a room, your brain stitches now from many streams. Familiarity is a fast tag that can fire before details. Sometimes the tag attaches to the scene because the scene was partially processed twice. Sometimes it fires because a pattern matches without an episode. Sometimes it spikes because the layout hits a template. And when that mismatch happens, your body can stamp the moment as significant. A micro freeze, a breath shift, a stomach drop, a quiet surge of attention. Then your mind does what it always does. It builds a story to match the signal, I've been here. And the key is the order. The stamp comes first, the story comes after, awareness comes after. Now the final reframe, déjà vu isn't a memory you have, it's a timing mismatch your brain produces. And that's why science can explain so much of it and still struggle with the most personal part. Not the chemistry, not the concept, the moment-to-moment unpredictability. Because you are observing a system, observing itself, and the system is always late to its own causes. That's the unsettling truth. Your certainty is not the same thing as truth. Your feeling of I know can be generated by timing before you have any knowledge at all. Awareness comes last, not comfort, truth. And that raises the next question. If your brain can manufacture familiarity, what else has it been manufacturing without asking your permission?